Well, hello people. So I thought I'd do a little bit of an update on the current situation and what's been happening and various other things. You will notice that there is a bottle of refrigerant on the top of the grill. And yes, I am at the stage where I am putting refrigerant into this thing. Woohoo! So I pressure tested it. So on the dial I pressure tested it quite a fair way. So I took it up to just above the 20. So it's a considerable amount of pressure that has gone into that system. So it just literally just touched above the 20 when I took it in, when I pressure tested it. So, and it held that for quite a time. So that was good. I then vented all that out because it's just air. There's no gas in that. I vented all that out and then ran a vacuum on it for about 6 hours, I think. I left it overnight and left the vacuum in there again. Then I checked the system out. I think there's still a vacuum in there. A little bit of one anyway. Oh, there will be. It's in the thing. If I release the pressure, there we go. Bit of vacuum still in there. There's a pretty good pump. This thing pumps down quite well. Bought that from a scrapyard. It was their old one, and they never used it, so I said I'll have it. Come out the following morning, vacuum still held perfectly. So I thought, right, we're going to go out and get ourselves a belt, because that was what was screwing me over. I've been buying belts left, right and centre. Even after I measured the actual belt size, it still ended up being the wrong belt. So the belt that I've got at the moment is a 6PK 1640, and the 6PK 1640 fits perfect, absolutely bang on. Don't know where the actual things disappeared for it, but it's around somewhere. Yeah, that fits in there absolutely perfect. It's what I've got on there now, a nice brand new Gates belt. Yeah, it's just down there. I don't know if you can read that. 1640, look, 6PK 1640 Gates belt, really nice. Now, I had a bit of a nightmare with this, so I went to the taxi place a couple of days ago to pick up some extras, because taxis are amazing for getting spare parts for these vans. They're really good. And I managed to get myself some speakers, which, you know, not really necessary, but speakers. Got myself some wind deflectors, which are nice. Some other general bits and bobs, but then I looked at the bottom pulley, the crankshaft pulley, and I realised it was different. Now, the pulley that I've got was already unbolted. I already, you know, it was, when I come to the taxi, it was already taken off. So I thought, maybe they've just wanted the crank bolt or something, you know. So I takes the pulley off and chucks it in my bag and pays for it like. Now, I didn't know, but the pulley, and believe me, before all this has happened to it, it was in okay condition. I mean, it moved a bit, but I thought that's how it was supposed to be, because it's supposed to work like a Dormouse flywheel, where it dampens the impact of the AC clutch coming on straight away. And if it's a hot start on the AC clutch, it'd be a lot of pressure in the system, because obviously the gas expands, and it would be, you know, really struggle to get that compressor kicked over. And the whole idea of that is to just take that bit of impact out from the clutch just clicking on. I'm going underneath here, checking different belts, taking belts off, and I think to myself, let's change the pulley over. So I swap the pulley over, through the wheel arch, so have it jacked up, through the wheel arch, change the pulley. People driving fast. Don't like it when people drive fast. There's a place for it and everything. Anyway, So I went out and bought a 1600 belt. So that's 1600 millimeters, which works out as 160 centimeters. So I tried to get that on here. Get my words right. And it's too tight. So yep, that doesn't work. So I thought I'll compromise and I'll get a belt in the middle. So I go to the motor factory, ring them up and say, hey guys, I'm after a belt. I've tried this size and this size. What do you recommend? And they said to me, well, take 2 belts. We'll give you a 1640 and a 1650 and just return the one that doesn't fit. And sadly, the 1650 is not the one that fits. So that's the one I've got to go and return. The 1640, that's the Gold Star belt. So that's the one you guys want to get. On the way back, I then go, I'm driving back, and that pulley there, as I'm driving there, whew, that pulley starts rattling around. I'm thinking, oh, hang on a minute. There's a reason why that pulley wasn't bolted to that engine. It's because someone's gone and taken the pulley off it, the pulley from that engine, and stuck their old knackered pulley back on the engine and not bothered putting the bolt back in. And lo and behold, that's what they'd done. So I'm driving this there, that pulley's rattling around and going at it, and I'm getting there and it's getting progressively worse. It's making a right racket, metal on metal sounds. Anyway, I get there and the guys are all looking at me out the window like, what the hell's that? Thinking, guys, come to a motor factory and he needs parts for that, making that noise. You just imagine. Anyway, so the guys who are out the UK who don't know what motor factors are, they're basically just a car parts place where you go to buy new parts for cars, or hopefully buy new parts for cars. So anyway, I haven't got the tools with me because I need the impact gun to undo the bolts because I haven't got a breaker bar. So I leave the impact gun here. So otherwise I would have done it at the side of the road. It's not that hard of a job, to be fair. So I go and drive back, get the belts, drive back, and I hit traffic. Oh dear. I'm parked in traffic and there are people coming up to the side of the van, because obviously the passenger side, knocking on the window saying, mate, there's all sparks coming out the bottom of your van. You need to like get it sorted, fixed, turn it off because it's sparking. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it, I get about 10 to 20 people come up to me, like papping their horn at me, saying, mate, pointing down at the wheel, saying, there's all sparks coming out from down here, and it's the pulley that's grinding metal on metal. Anyway, I get home, I swing down the road here, and I'm driving down, there's smoke bellowing out of this thing. I backs it onto the drive, turns it off, open the bonnet, and as I open the bonnet it flashes over and I'm getting flames, so I'm thinking, oh crud. So I run up, you can see there's water on the floor. I run down there, grab the hose, come up here, and I'm just blasting the hose down in there, trying to get it all nice and cool. Oh, what a nightmare. And what's happened is the whatever is inside the pulley that has failed the springiness, and it's just literally sitting on the rubber, and you can see all this is the rubber that's melted and it's coming out, and all this was on fire out of all this. And you can see, look, the play it's got in it, look at that. Absolutely screwed. It does just spin as well. It doesn't have any doesn't have any dampening anymore. It just spins on the metal, metal on metal. So yeah, needless to say, the old pulley went back on again, which is a solid pulley with a bit of rubber inside it, and we're going to live with that. But obviously it's just an idiot thing where people who don't know mechanics will then go and turn the AC back on straight away and almost seize the compressor up because there's that much pressure in there. They've not let the pressures equalise between the two sides of the compressor. So, like I say, that's not a problem that's going to happen. Crazy. Right, anyway, so enough about my antics and what the hell happened to me. Shall we get on to the wiring? So wiring, I have found out, and thankfully I was clever enough, well, sort of clever, thankfully I figured it out that the two outer wires were indeed the two power input cables. So the brown and the red wires on this switch are the live wire inputs. So basically you've got, I can't remember which one it is now, but the output, hang on a minute, let me just have a quick peek down here. Hang on. Alright, so the refrigeration wire is this sort of pinky white wire. That's the one that turns your compressor on and off. That's the one that says, yep, we've got above 20 psi in the system. Let's enable the compressor clutch. So that enables your compressor clutch. I am going to wire this in to a pink relay somewhere, this one here, which is going to sit in the box in here somewhere. And it's going to come out through one of these two wires. I'm not sure which one it is yet. I think it's the yeah, I'm going to use the striped wire because it's only speaker wire, it's only signalling wire, so it's not going to be carrying any load. So the striped wire is going to be the one for my compressor clutch. That's going to come up into here, which I've actually already got screwed tied together, because that is the clutch for the compressor. When you give that power, and you can, if I can find a battery lead, you'll hear it click. So I give that power and you'll hear the compressor clutch click. There you go. Now, I probably don't need to put that on a relay, but I'm going to anyway, because I'm not 100% sure how much force, how much current goes through that compressor clutch. Probably quite a bit given the spark. So rather than burn me switch out, I'm going to put it through a relay just to be on the safe side. Relay can take 30 amps. That is nowhere to drawing 30 amps, but it'll just save me switch from dying. That's going to be how it works. Now I have been charging the system on this with refrigerant, just nice simple top-up kits. That's all you need to use. In the UK, like I said before, there is a law which says you can't touch the refrigerant system on a vehicle. However, you are allowed to top it up. Now, I know and you know that this system had nothing in it before. Now, technically it's not a top-up, but still we are sort of adding refrigerant to the system, so it's a grey area in the law. Someone out there who's good with law will probably figure out that some way it's illegal, some way it may not be illegal, but like I say, it's a grey area, and my god, there've got to be some petty people out there to actually look into this. But if it's illegal, they wouldn't sell these kits to do this in the UK if it was fully, you know, if it was like totally illegal. And well, I know that the refrigerant in this system isn't going into the environment because it's going in the system. I mean, it might leak into the environment eventually because of all air conditioning systems leak. Vehicle ones anyway, they all do it. But yeah, and so to charge this system up, you need the engine running, and if you've got nothing in the system and you've already done the wiring, the AC clutch will not click in. You have got to add a bit of refrigerant first and get it to about 25 psi, or 20 psi I think it is on the system, for this pressure switch to engage and give power to the relay, which gives power to the clutch. Nice and simple. Well, it is on paper. As soon as that's happened, you will then be able, you'll then hear the compressor clutch kick in, and then you'll start just adding your refrigerant. Thankfully in the UK, they've got a how-to on this. I don't really need to read that because I've done it before many times. There's a how-to how to do it. And basically you're looking for your refrigerant where your engine's running to sort of stay in this green band. Obviously the more across it is, the more refrigerant you've got in your system. At the moment mine's sitting just about under the 35, so it still needs a bit more going in. I have had to use 2 half-filled bottles of this stuff, so far I've only put in 1 bottle, and this one is still pretty full, so I just thought, damn it, I'm doing all this and didn't grab my camera, so yeah, grab my camera now and you know, continue on. But it's quite fun, it's quite cool to see that, I'll start the engine and show you. Hopefully you'll still be able to hear what I'm saying. I've got a little temperature probe in the vent as well. Let's start this engine up. All cool. And I will just kick the compressor in by being very naughty and just tapping my clutch into this 5 amp fuse here, and you'll see that needle go down. There we go. So we are now running refrigerant, and obviously in the little window down there, look, you can see the refrigerant all moving. If I take the compressor off again, look how cool that is, huh? Cool stuff, huh? And yeah, as soon as the temperature gets a bit higher in the system, it will start dropping down again like it is doing. Now, one thing I will say about this is you definitely need to have your radiator fan running when you're doing this, because that is going to get seriously hot, that radiator. And I kid you not, it will get hot enough to take your skin off. That's how hot it will get. Thankfully, Citroen and these vans have got you covered, so what you can do is you can look in the lid of your fuse box, and you'll find this little thing here, which is a little bridge. And what that does is you can remove your relay from here, pull it out, and then put this in its place, like this. Oops, I'm knocking the clutch. And then your fan's kicked on. And then when that comes on, look at the difference it makes to the temperature on your gauge. And now with all this doing this, now you can start adding your refrigerant. So you literally just squeeze the trigger on these kits, making sure you move the bottle around and keep checking to see where it's sat at. Obviously, the more you do it, the more refrigerant you're putting in. You can see it's going up and up, look, which is good. That's what we want it to do. The people are messaging me all the time. You do have to give it time to settle while you're doing this. And I know it's going in there because this bottle is getting really cold. So it's definitely sucking in the refrigerant. And air conditioning is a funny thing, because you'd think that the more refrigerant you put into it, the colder your vents are going to get. But that isn't the case with this. It will get to a point where you can't physically put any more into this thing. You can, but you'll be right over into the red, and you've got problems if you do that. It's not good to put that in there to that level. Let's go around and have a look and see what the vents are doing. No, this meter does not work very well. It's been dropped a few times, but that is considerably cold air coming out of that. It's a lot more cool than it's a hell of a lot more cool than what is I've not got my recirculation on, so it is sucking in the warm air from outside. It's got that lovely air conditioning smell about it. The smell of refrigeration when you go into a supermarket and you open the fridge doors. That's really nice, that. When this section's boxed off with the because when this is boxed off with the bulkhead, this AC system is going to think nothing of cooling this down. It's going to be really good. If I have the engine revved up higher, I'll probably get it to go a lot cooler than that. So let me just get in the van. Oops, I've locked the door. You get in the van, give it a bit of a rev. I need a new gauge. This one is definitely not reading right. That air does not feel like it's plus 10 degrees, believe me. But like I say, there's still more refrigerant I can add to this thing, and I do need to add more. So I'm going to cut this video off here now. I've been recording for a considerable amount of time. I'll cut this video off and complete it and finish it and get it done. Thanks for watching for now.